Jeff and the Unity Band. Oh, good morning and welcome to Unity Spiritual Center of Lansing. We are back to May. We're virtual again, which you know if you're watching us on here. Just with the COVID rates going up in Michigan right now, we decided the best thing to do was to stay safe and let's see if those rates go down a little bit before we gather together. And of course, we are hoping for a gathering Christmas time, Christmas season, but we will go with the flow here. So our classes and team meetings are on Zoom. If you go to our USCL discussion book page, you can get the Zoom link there or call the office for that. And stay updated because we are watching this as the rates change. So we send out an e-news. If you're not on it, on our website, you can click to get a copy of that. You can always phone us, email us, or check on Facebook for updates as well as our website. So prayer of wholeness. You know, I've noticed not only is there COVID, but there's been a heck of a lot of colds going around lately. We didn't have that last year because we were masked all the time. So let's affirm together. In this moment, we bless the miraculous workings of our bodies. Conceived in divine mind, our bodies sparkle with health and vitality. We lay claim to our physical strength and resilience as we adopt practices to maintain and grow health. Every day we are guided to make choices and take actions that support the natural wholeness of our physical being. And so it is. Amen. Deep breath, yes. Well, Unity's mission is to spiritually awaken to our oneness with God, with each other, and with all creation. And this mission stems from our vision of seeing a world powerfully transformed through a growing movement of a shared spiritual awakening. And we say shared because we understand it's not a right and perfect answer, but it's being committed to honoring our journey and the journey of others. So we begin with an affirmation, including an ecumenical affirmation of the many faiths. The enlightenment of the Buddha shines within us. The compassion of the Christ moves through us. The power of Jehovah strengthens and guards us. The presence of Allah surrounds and guides us. Wherever we are, the Tao is, and all is God. And in ecumenical sphere, today is the first day of Hanukkah. This is the festival of lights. And so our friends in the Jewish faith will be lighting a candle every night for the next 8 nights, celebrating the rededication of the temple that they took back in the Maccabean revolt. This is BC time. But it's just a wonderful, fun holiday. Who doesn't like to light a candle in this darkness? We're going to join together now to set the consciousness. Even though we're virtual, we can still be together in mind and in heart and in spirit. Greg?
Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Take charge of what you're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought becomes a prayer.
So today we're going to bless our neighbors around the world by remembering. That's the theme for this Christmas to remember. So we affirm, we remember Christmas. We remember that we are one. We remember the past and are filled with hope for people everywhere, no matter the situation. The resilience and resourcefulness that carried them before is still alive and powerful within them now. We remember the present, knowing God is in every event and more powerful than any situation. The world changes moment by moment, breath by breath, and we hold the consciousness of that which does not change, the peace of the presence. We remember the Christmases that are yet to be, as we join our neighbors around the world in heart and mind to fulfill the promise filled with a life filled with love for one another. We share the joy of our hearts to bless others through struggles and grief, celebrations and completions in a consciousness of one. We remember, and so it is. Amen. Now our prayer, our blessing, Christmas blessing for Unity Spiritual Center of Lansing. As we affirm together, hope is a light guiding our every endeavor. Peace is the prevailing sentiment in our lives. Love is a gift freely shared to one another. Joy flows as unlimited abundance through our community and through our lives. For the blessings of the season, we are truly grateful. Inshallah, shalom, namaste, amen. So today, we don't have a discussion at the tables, but I'm going to ask you to think about what gives you hope. And I'm very proud to share this little graphic here. Hi, London. London said she was going to be watching it as my granddaughter up in Toronto. And this is a little graphic that she did, The Final Hope. So I thought, how appropriate for today. And we have our candles here for Advent. I'm going to light the candle for hope. Yeah. Oh, almost got it, almost got it. I have a flunk on Survivor. Oop.
Oh. I hope you can get that.
I hope I can, yes, yes. Well, we're going to pretend it's lit. I hope you can see it. Yeah, do you want, are you a Boy Scout? I can't believe I can't light a candle. Oh, yay!
Second try, all
sure.
right.
That looks like a good hope-filled candle. Standing ovation for Chris. Just one. We don't want to burn it all out in setting. Now think about what is it that gives you hope. This time of year, something about seeing Christmas lights on the street, it just lifts your spirits. It's getting darker out earlier. And can you think of anything that gives you hope, Greg?
Oh, seeing drivers remember how to
drive in the snow, that gives me hope too.
I actually saw some very, serious, careful drivers last night after the game. So.
Impressive, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, there's all those things that just give us a little bit of hope. Well, here's going to set the tone for the season. We're going to deck the halls. You can see we started decking the halls here. I want to thank our decorating teams. They've just done a marvelous job. Yeah, take it away, Jeff.
Deck the halls with boughs of holly, fa la 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 la. 'Tis the season to be jolly, fa la 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 la. Don we now a gay apparel, fa la 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 la. Troll the ancient Yuletide carol, fa la 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 la. La 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 la. See the blazing Yule before us. Fa la 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 la. La 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 la. Strike the harp and join the chorus. Fa la 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 la. La 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 la. Follow me in merry measure. Fa la 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 la. While I tell of Yuletide treasure. La 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 la. Fast away the old year passes. La 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 la. Hail the new ye lads and lasses. La 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 la. Sing we joyous all together. La 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 la. Heedless of the wind and weather, fa la 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 la.
Woo! La la la, yeah, thank you, Greg.
Good morning out there. I'm Chris Jansen, your platform assistant for the day. Today's daily hope, inspired by the 60-second song, "For God alone my soul waits in silence, for my hope is in God." Our belief in goodness of the world, others, myself, and God begins with hope. Maybe hope is all we can muster after a period of doubt or disappointment. As we feel hopeful, we begin to believe that new possibilities and better outcomes are available to us. Our hopeful feelings lead to faith, a certainty that the goodness we could only sense before is the actual nature of life. With faith, we now direct our thoughts toward goodness, wholeness, and our heart's desires. With gratitude for our awakening, we use faith to dismantle doubt and limitation. We hold only the best thoughts for ourselves. We know and feel in the depths of our soul that the good we desire is already ours. With unwavering faith and deep gratitude, we claim it now. Let us affirm together, this Advent, my hope leads me to unwavering faith in God. Each month, we highlight and focus on one of our ministry's core values. Thanksgiving was just a few days ago. We consider stewardship as a deeply meaningful way to show genuine gratitude. Thoughtful consideration of the use of our resources is a conscious honoring of all that we have received. As good and grateful stewards, we make wise decisions on how to use all of our resources. Resources are not limited to our financial means, but also include the responsible use of our spiritual gifts and the access we have to the abundant gifts of our planet and all living things. We also recognize that we are not only users of resources, but we are also a source of resources for others. So we share wisely and generously of our time, talent, and treasure, so that we are actively a part of the flow of abundance. Let us affirm our statement of stewardship together. We gratefully receive the abundant gifts of the universe and share generously. Today, following service, the venue rental exploration task team is on Zoom to explore what we need to do to rent out our facilities. The meeting is open to everyone. Normally, our lunch bunch meets the first Friday of every month, but they will not be meeting this month due to the high COVID rates. Lunch bunch will resume once COVID rates decrease. Tuesday, November 30th, at 7 o'clock, at 6:30 p.m. is our annual Angel Remembrance Service. This is a time to honor our losses and grief as we enter into the holiday season. Angels will be hung for you in memory of your loved ones, and this does include pets. This year, we are offering the service on Zoom so everyone can attend safely. Next Sunday, our SALT class is being offered by Lee Nelson. It is an introduction to metaphysics, a fascinating topic many of you will be interested in. The Zoom session will be held on SALT. Contact the church office if you need the Zoom link. Unity has adopted a family through the oncology department at Sparrow. The wish list of the family is posted on our website. It includes children ages 1 to 17 and their mother. Please check it out and adopt one or more of the items on their list. Call the church office to let us know which items you will be dropping off. We plan to deliver the gifts to the family the week of December 19th. So we have 2 weeks left to create a magical holiday experience for this family of 7. If you have any questions, contact the church office. Information on our activities and teams can be found on our website. If you have any questions, call the church office. And now, it's my honor to welcome back Linda Abar to share some beautiful music.
Hi, everyone. I'm still in Thanksgiving mode. This is a new song I wrote, and I'm not really sure what it's titled yet, but it's about gratitude. 1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you for what's been given me and for what's been taken away. Thank you for all that's come to pass and for what's yet to become. For by losing, I've learned to let go. From what's been given, I've learned to receive. From all that's past, I've learned to trust you for what tomorrow will bring. Thank you for what's been given me and what's been taken away. Thank you for all that's come to pass and for what's yet to come. For by losing, I've learned to let go. From what's been given, I've learned to receive. From all that's past, I've learned to trust you to give me all that I need to grow into my next state of being, to grow. It's the nature of healing, to grow. To grow. Thank you for what's been given me and what's been taken away.
Oh,
Thank you, Unity Band, for learning that in one rehearsal.
thank you, Linda, for a world premiere. It's, yeah, first time the whole world has heard that song. Well, we've been doing a series on the 4 spiritual laws of prosperity, and it kind of segues wonderfully into hope. But just as a quick review, we talked about tithing, really talked about this concept of having this personal interaction with God. How are we going to remember that we are one, that God is our source, that we are one with Spirit at all times? Each of us have different ways of doing that. In setting goals, kind of in partnership with God, what is it that we plan to do? What is our first step? Where are we going? Where are we heading? And then last week we talked about forgiveness, which deeply is the economy of the heart, because it costs a lot to be angry, to be filled with hatred, to have regrets, to have unresolved issues within our heart. And so today we go to the 4th step about our divine purpose, finding our divine purpose, doing the work that we were put on this planet to do. So what is your divine purpose? Some of the questions you might ask yourself is, what is yours to do to make this world a better place because you live in it? Like, what difference does it make that you're here? What is it that you have to give to others? What do you have to share? What do you love? What brings you joy? It's not a divine purpose if you dread doing it. Your divine purpose is supposed to lift you up. You can't give to others what you don't have yourself. Think about how big will you let God be through you? How big a presence will you allow yourself to be, Spirit expressing? But as we go through those questions, I know I have a question that comes up in the back of my mind. What if I get it wrong? I guessed wrong. That wasn't my purpose. I was supposed to be doing this. Well, this time of year is really about our divine purpose. There's a season of 40 days called Christmastide. So it's 40 days, and metaphysically, whenever you see a 40, it means as long as it takes. So there's no pressure on getting clarity on what your divine purpose is, or getting into the Christmastide, if you will. So the 40 days is Advent, which is the 4 weeks before Christmas. plus Sundays, like today. This is the first Sunday of Advent in the Christmastide. There's Christmas Day, and then there's the 12 days after Christmas. I remember trying to convince my parents that I should get a gift every day of the 12 days. Seemed like a good deal to me, yeah. So if you think about it, that we get like this annual invitation to explore our own lives internally at that soul level to see what is our purpose. And in Unity, we have a few celebrations that we do along with this. After the holidays, we do a burning bowl to let go of what no longer serves us, just let it go. And then as we go into the new year, we get a white stone and we write this word that comes to us in meditation on it as a guidance for the next year. It might be a hint for what your divine purpose is on that. So the commitment is really our work to that divine purpose. And there's a man by the name of William Hutchinson Murray, who was a Scottish mountain climber. And he wrote this, and it is so true. He said, until one is committed, there's a hesitancy, the chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness. So think about him, too, as a mountain climber. If you're going to reach for that next thing, you better be reaching for it. There's no halfway point. But the same thing is true in our life. If we don't make that reach, make that commitment to try it, we're never going to get there. We will always stop short of where we want to be. He said the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves true. All sorts of things occur to help one that would never otherwise occur. For mountain climbing, it might be all of a sudden as you make that move, you see a crevice where you can put your hand. But for us, where we didn't even, it looked like a wall, sudden doors appear, things open up, a pathway appears, a connection gets made. There's just this whole series of what we sometimes call coincidences. But it happens because we created that energetic flow, that magnetism of success to really fulfill whatever that purpose is that we've committed to be working on. So he said, whatever you can do or dream you can do, begin it. Boldness has genius, power in it. Begin it now. So this is the first day of Advent. We begin now to really ask for renewed clarity on what is our purpose. What are we here to do? How do we make a difference? So Christmas hope, this is the first light, if you will, within the Christmas season, this idea of hope. Sometimes people celebrate this also as faith, but I love hope because hope truly does spring eternal. There's something within us as humans that always allows us to hope. And, you know, as we look at making a commitment to whatever, we need to make a commitment without any guarantee of success. And you go, oh my goodness, how can I do that? I want to know I'm going to succeed. My daughter would never start taking lessons until she knew how to do it, and then she would take lessons. I could never get that around that. But, you know, sometimes we as adults, we don't want to try something until we're sure that we can succeed, we can work at it. But, you know, we have done a lot of things without knowing how. We were born without knowing how. We didn't know how we were going to be born, and it happened. None of us knew how to do puberty. If any of us could have gone back, we might have done it differently, but we made it through. I mean, here we are. A lot of times we didn't know how we were going to carry on in spite of what had happened. That something was just so disastrous in our life. How can we get through this? And, you know, certainly this world in a pandemic and all the different things that are going on, it seems like, how do we get to the end of this? How do we come out of it? And how do we live our life in purpose? Just like we didn't know the other things, we don't have the answers. It's about making that commitment to take that first step forward, to do that mindset of carrying forward. So the other thing that's happening right now, so we have this whole Christmastide thing happening, and we're quickly approaching the solstice. And it's interesting that Christmas and the solstice kind of happen all together because winter solstice, is the shortest day of the year. So that light keeps getting shorter and the darkness keeps getting longer. And what a perfect description of the process for us. The darkness, I think about us doing that internal work so we can then bring it out to the light. And just when we get to that shortest day, there's a turnaround and the light starts coming back. What a great analogy for our process. This is what happens. Plato explained it really well. If you've ever heard the analogy of Plato's cave, he talks about the human experience, about our enlightenment and our unenlightenment, our humanness. And he said it's like mankind was in the bottom of this cave, underground, and you're tied up, and there's this light behind you, and there's a lot of activity going on, so you see these shadows on the wall, kind of like marionettes, people carrying all kinds of things, walking by. But the mouth of the cave is way far away, you can't see the light coming from it, and this seems like it's reality, that you are tied to where you're at, and you just see life passing by. This whole illusion that seems so real. But if you were to free a man who had been tied up watching all this, what would happen? Think about it. If they got up and walked around, they might actually go over there and see where they could get out of the cave. And they see the light up there, that it's not a world of darkness and shadows, there is a light. And they'd crawl up there, and they'd see the light, and they'd come back down, they'd tell their friends, they go, wait a minute, you don't have to sit here. I can let you go. There's light up there. There's all kinds of light. We're only watching shadows. It's not real. And everybody sitting there is going to go, you're crazy. You must be delusional. It's hard to believe sometimes. You get so caught in this mode. The human condition of reality and unreality, of enlightenment and unenlightenment. Watching the shadows or actually letting ourselves free to go to the light. And I've had my own caves as a child, maybe you did too. I was sure that when I went to bed, there were alligators under the bed, so you couldn't get out of bed. They would bite your feet off. And then the closet, of course, the door had to be closed because at night, awful things came out of there. I heard the creaks in the night. I knew what was going on. And one night, I was laying there in bed and sleeping, and something woke me, and I look over, and there is this shadow on the wall of this big man, and he's standing there looking at me, and quickly the covers go back over my head. And my breathing gets a little faster, and you're under the cover, so you start kind of hyperventilating. I pull the curtain down, the figure is still there, and if I had thought about it, we're in the second story. Who could be standing there like at the window or something, casting a shadow into my room? It was impossible. But I saw this shadow. So finally, after, I don't know how long, as a kid it seemed interminable, I got brave enough, and I went and I looked behind the bed to see who was standing there. And there was nobody. There was nobody at all. And my mind is kind of all messed up on this. And then, I don't know how long it took, but I look over, and over on my dresser, my mother had given me a figurine of Jesus. And the nightlight shadow was shining on the wall. And that's what I was afraid of. I'm sure my mother took all of her courage and effort not to laugh when I told her the story on that. But how many times in our life did we just see this big shadow? It's not real. And if we only took that courage to look around the corner to find out what it is that's scaring us so much. Fear is such a really crucial point in so many times in our life. And it really has two meanings. It means forget everything and run. Enough of this. I'm going to go away. I'm going to go back under my covers into my cave. Or face everything and rise. Whenever we face our fears, do we ever feel good? It's not about success, it's about facing the fear, so then we know what we're dealing with and we can move on from there. It's always our choice. We can look to the shadows or we can look to the light. Always our choice which way we're going to look. So I like to look at the word hope as an anagram, and there's a lot of anagrams I've used with this. And as people get into this time of year, they talk about, I'm waiting to get into the Christmas spirit, waiting for that Christmas spirit to take root. I'm waiting to feel that. It's probably different for everybody, but we get into that mood of Christmas. So I think the anagram from hope that I like to share is having open pathways of evolution. Having open pathways of evolution. You can't have hope if you say, this is the box I'm in and there can be nothing that changes from this. But hope is knowing that things can change. Hope is knowing that there's other ways of doing things. Open pathways of evolution. So affirmation time. Without any darkness, pain, or insecurity, the light of guidance and assurance will shine again. I stand where I am and give myself permission to go forward. Think about that, giving ourselves permission to go forward. Giving ourselves permission to say, I have no box around me. Everything is a possibility. When you go back to the traditional Christian Christmas story too, there's a light that's a big star of the show, literally. It is a star. And those big night skies that didn't have light pollution. It must have been incredible 2,000 years ago. And we see these magi, these wise men traveling long distances through the desert, following this star, this one light. They look to the light, not to the shadows. And the wise men were probably magi from the Zoroastrian tradition. Zoroastrian means golden and light. And they were called magicians, but not in the sense of like Las Vegas magicians. They knew how to do things. They knew how to certainly make some illusion, make things happen. They also learned how to read the stars. We would call them astrologers. And from the readings of the stars, they would foretell what was going to happen. Now, Zoroastrianism had an interesting approach. They believed in a total dualistic world, that there was good and there was bad, there was dark and there was light, there was chaos and there was order. They believed both of these entities, both of these opposites had to exist within the world. It's a good symbol for us about thinking, where are we going? Where are we getting our direction? What star are we following? What light are we heading towards? Are we heading towards the light, or are we deciding to sit in the shadows into that dark, starry night? There's a lot of times that we have no hope. We are just in total despair. There are times our humanness has suffered such a debilitating situation, either physically or emotionally, socially, financially, that we are stuck there in that darkness. We can't even imagine that there's light anyplace. Snowball's chance at hell. I love the story of Fred Astaire, who in his early days, when he was trying out for a part, happened to catch one of the auditionees. I don't know what he was the auditioner, so the auditionee, the people judging him, yeah. As they wrote, can't act, slightly bald, can dance a little, but not too well. You know, if he listened to that, all the things that would have been lost to us, all the fun movies and stuff. So I'm going to ask you today, think about it from the Christmases past. And when I talk about Christmases, I'm talking about those soul-searching moments, looking for your purpose, looking for what is yours to do. Which of these dialogues is your Christmas past? What's the use? I tried and I failed. Or, that's not true. I'm going to allow the spiritual wonder to come through me. Being in the question and not knowing the answer can be a very uncomfortable situation, or it can be exciting, because you know if you sit in that question long enough, the answer will reveal itself to you. That pathway opens, the doorway opens, whatever it is. Robert Brault, who's an operatic tenor, he said, if you knew that hope and despair were paths to the same destination, which would you choose? And I don't think he's being a wisecracker here. Sometimes we need to go through the despair. Sometimes that we are still dealing with issues of self-worth or issues of relationships, whatever that might be, that something in us for some reason needs to suffer. But it's knowing that it's a choice, that making the choice of hope will take us to the same destination. It's just a different style of journey. It's whether you ride the camel over the bumpy road or you take an airplane and land there. You're going to get to the same destination. Always your choice how you travel. And when I talk about hope, this is a wonderful, brilliant little piece of logic that this computer analysis in Saudi Arabia wrote. And if the reasoning of hope, he says, assume you have no hope. Assume that as dark as it is, there is no hope for you at all. So if you have no hope, you have nothing. If you have nothing, well, then nothing is holding you back. And if nothing is holding you back, nothing is saying you can't. Therefore, someone must be saying, something must be saying, you can. You can means you can do anything. If you can do anything, you can dream. And if you can dream, you can hope. Therefore, there is always hope. Wow, I just love that, love that. And I think of hope, I always go to the story of Matty Stepanek. And if you don't remember him, early 2000s, he passed in 2004. He was born with a debilitating disease. He had 3 siblings who all died before they were 4. Matty lived to be 13. And during his time alive, he wrote some magnificent things. And he had 3 wishes. He wanted to see his writings published, his poetry published. He wanted to meet Oprah, and he wanted to meet his idol, Jimmy Carter. And he fulfilled all 3. But this poem in particular, this time of year, it was from his book, The Journey Through Heart Songs. And he wrote, I need a hope, a new hope, a hope that reaches for the stars and that does not end in violence or war. A hope that makes peace on our earth and that does not create evil in the world. A hope that finds cures for all diseases and that does not make people hurt in their bodies, in their hearts, or most of all, in their spirits. I need a hope, a new hope, a hope that inspires me to live and to make all these things happen, so that the whole world can have a new hope too. Wow, Maddie. Wow. I can't imagine in the life of this 13-year-old who knows that he's going to die anytime, that he's outlived his siblings, that he could still have this spark of hope within him, and it impacted so many people. So the star of Christmastide is the hope, holding open pathways to evolution. And since it is Hanukkah, maybe a little guidance from the Hanukkah world. Rabbi Irving Greenberg said, the proper response, as Hanukkah teaches, is not to curse the darkness, but to light a candle. And for those times that it just feels so dark we can't light that candle, there's a poet, Edith Wharton, said there are two ways of spreading light: to be the candle or the mirror that reflects the candle. There's always hope. There's always light. So bringing us back to our 4 spiritual laws of success, I want you to know that you all have this blank check. And this is a blank check from the infinite bank of hope. Remittance's advice is feel good. The pay, the amount is as much as you can accept in hope, peace, love, and joy. To the order of you. Memo line for this check is finding your divine purpose or helping you find it, sent to you by the universe. So with that, we're going to have a little affirmation. With wisdom and insight, I am filled with hope. I create a life of meaning and purpose. With that, let us invite Greg back up here for some music as we go into a time of meditation with Do You Hear What I Hear?
Said the night wind to the little lamb, do you see what I see? Way up in the sky, little lamb, do you see what I see? A star, dancing in the night with a tail as big as a kite, with a tail as big as a kite. Said the night wind to the little lamb, do you hear what I hear? Way up in the sky, little lamb, do you hear what I hear? A song, high above the tree, with a voice as big as the sea, with a voice as big as the sea.
I invite you to take a deep breath. Release that breath. Allow your mind to calm. Set aside any thoughts of what to do or the thoughts that may be stirred up in your mind this time of year. Allow your inner self to quiet. To quiet so that you might hear that sound, that song of hope. For it is a song that is singing in your heart right now. Living in a world of appearances, of forecasts that may be less than desirable, of struggles with our neighbors and with our own homes, of health, of connections, misunderstandings. struggles perhaps with our own body, trying to express a more radiant health. No matter what the appearance, no matter what the diagnosis, no matter what the forecast, there in our heart resides this indelible light of hope. There are those days when the darkness lays so heavy upon us that we cannot muster the commitment to allow our light to shine. But in those times, if we allow ourselves to simply be in the moment, we can be that mirror that reflects the light that is around us, the light that our eyes have been too dim to see wrapped up into our current situation. And for those of us sitting in joy and in peace in this Christmas tide, let us bring forth our lights, turning up the lumens even greater, so that we might lift others up with us, stepping into the hope, open to that evolutionary path, open to a new hope, a hope that does not hurt but helps, a hope that does not suppress but lifts up, a hope that is pure and expansive and embraces us all in loving possibilities. As that light shimmers within us, let us take a moment in the silence to feel our beingness as the hope of the season. As we take a breath in and freely exhale, we relax into this moment. We relax as the light. We express the hope for ourselves, our loved ones, and all others with whom we share this magnificent planet. And so it is in the song of the season. Amen.
Said the shepherd boy to the mighty king, "Do you know what I know? In your palace warm, mighty king, do you know what I know? A child shivers in the cold. Let us bring him silver and gold. Let us bring him silver and gold." Said the king to the people everywhere, "Listen to what I say. Pray for peace, people everywhere. Listen to what I say. The child, sleeping in the night, it will bring us goodness and light. It will bring us goodness and light.
Thank you, Greg. I'm glad our light doesn't have to be lit with one of those box matches. I would feel like a failure. So, spiritual practice for the week is to share your light. Maybe it's a phone call to somebody, a smile, somebody you don't know, or simply being that vehicle to reflect the light that is around us. And one great way to share the light is to help us with our adoptive family. You know, it's very weird making this shift from being in person and virtual to being only virtual, just as we're getting geared up for the Christmas season. And last year we did it, we weren't meeting at all. We were doing laptop services then, so I know we can do it this time. So yeah, it just makes you feel so good to reach out to a family. And I have to tell you, I was so looking for a 16-year-old to buy something for because of Luke's passing this year, my grandson. And the family has a 16-year-old boy. So it's our family to help this year. So let's get our lights out there. Right now, I'd like to invite Linda to come back up to share with me some of my favorite things.
Sharon gives such a great talk. Isn't she amazing? Everybody clap for her in your homes. Namaste. My favorite things. Groovied up.
Raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens. Bright copper kettles and warm woolen mittens. Brown paper packages tied up with string. These are a few of my favorite things. Cream-colored ponies and crisp apple strudels. Doorbells and sleigh bells and schnitzel with noodles. Wild geese that fly with the moon on their wings. These are a few of my favorite things. Girls in white dresses with blue satin sashes. Snowflakes that stay on my nose and eyelashes. Silver white winters that melt into spring. These are a few of my favorite things. When the dog bites, when the bee stings, when I'm feeling sad, I simply remember my favorite things. And then I don't feel so bad.
Thank you. Unity Band.
Thank you, Linda. This is the time during our Sunday service when we engage in the sacred practice of generosity. On this Advent Sunday of hope, we remember it is our hope that has lifted our spirit whenever the world felt dim. We take a moment to feel deep appreciation for the hope and support that blessed each of our individual lives. As a community, we enthusiastically express gratitude to everyone who has continued to support Unity through this most unusual time. It is because of our financial gifts and love offerings and the tremendous work of our teams of volunteers that this ministry continues to thrive. Our circle of generosity includes an act of gratitude for these many gifts as we share our gifts with others. As a community, for the fourth quarter of this year, we have chosen to share our gifts with 3 incredible organizations. This month, we are tithing to Potter Park Zoo to support their work with animals. Let us take a moment to immerse ourselves in the deepest gratitude by singing, "I Am So Blessed."
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
Generosity is a sacred exchange of giving and receiving. Because we are so blessed, it is with joy and enthusiasm that we as individuals share our many blessings to complete the circle. For these times we are not gathering in person, we thank everyone for the support they share through the donate button on our website and through the mail. Let us celebrate the circle of prosperity by affirming together, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I praise, give thanks, and am glad. To close our service today, we will join together virtually in singing the peace song.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that is meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. This is the moment now. With every breath I take, this is my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. The light of God surrounds us. The light of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God is within us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.